Today was interesting yet again, so here we go. Before I left for school, I decided to bike for about a few minutes around from uphill to downhill range, and it was a little tiring. Thankfully, I was not as tired, so I woke up early before my mom, and I did that pretty much earlier than she does. Once I came back home from biking, I had to pressure my mom into letting me go because she was showering right now, and I needed her to hurry up. We were running out of time for school, and I need to get to school really, really early. She was still showering, so eventually she hurried up, and I got to school pretty early. Once I was at school, it was pretty cold, and there were not a lot of people. I had to decide between three things: the quad, the cafeteria, or the library, and I chose the library. And a girl I talked to, she nodded at me, so I decided to sit up with her at the opposite side of the table she was at. So I worked for most of the time on Spanish and a little bit of learning about tenses, but I told her, I asked her about her day and how she was doing, and it went mostly well. Obviously, I'm not going to reveal the conversation to protect the privacy, but I worked on my Spanish skills for most of the time before period one, and I self learned the present perfect form of Spanish, which today is usually replaced by preterite tense, but I'm still going to learn it anyway. I was able to grasp this concept immediately because it was more of a simple sentence structure, though my conjugations and the helper verb haber, I will still need a little bit of time to memorize and know what it is. But anyways, first period, I learned about Spanish culture and how three different continents, Africa, Britain, and the Americas, molded many forms of music genres and culture into a diverse culture as we observe today in Latin America countries. Our class listened to a song about Bad Bunny that included one of these little things, but I don't remember the name of the song, no. Now, second period, side note, despite not many people doing so, I always wear sunscreen to this period to reduce the risk of skin cancer since we're in the sun. I used arrows and bows with a student in the class. We are in the unit of bows and arrows this time for my PE class. And the student that I was with, failed to hit the bullseye target. There was also three mosquitoes, so they were pretty annoying as I stood on the grass to do things. Still, those mosquitoes were annoying, but thankfully nobody pointed a bow at me. Now, third period, I completed a gizmo assignment regarding sea and land breeze, and I confused the terms together because I thought it was for the night and the other one was for the day. But I realized land breeze is during the night, sea breeze is during the day, not the other way around. Unless I'm wrong again, and then I'll have to correct this video. But I took a quiz for weather and wind since the teacher put up a video on the screen. Since he keeps complaining that there's AI use on online assignments, so he decided for us to use paper and pencil. So here we go. Fourth period, I learned more about Mussolini and how he ruled Italy with totalitarianism before World War II. The class did a video about it, and after the video, I did homework on math for quadratics. Now, lunch period, I had to decide between three places. Go to my other friends who are doing some sort of gram, or go to the library, or set up a new interaction in the cafeteria. I decided to go to the library and finish up work. I didn't want to participate in a completely new friend group because of, social plate tectonics, and I don't have the energy for it yet. I asked the girl I talked to yesterday maybe if she could sit with me at a round table nearby. She responded firmly that she's comfortable where she is, so I left her as she was, and I just did my homework for the rest of that lunch period. Honestly, I could have joined a new lunch friend group, but they would definitely drift away. So that's why I'm not choosing until I get the energy to do so. Now, fifth period, I bet around 6 to 7 cents that the students would be late, and most were actually early, but one student was late, so I put it in the tip jar that the teacher has, and she gave me a funny face when I did say one was late later on. Something that I didn't include while I was writing down in my Spanish essay is that the teacher told me she's not going to be here tomorrow because she'll be attending a baby shower, and she's going to be naming the baby since her culture's name has the name of quote unquote Carrie. Apparently, the baby's name will be named Carrie Ann or something similar. So, as a miniature time capsule, I say to this baby, Carrie Ann, or whatever name they are going to get, um, who will one day be a future teen or adult. If you ever stumble upon this video, obviously contact me. But what I say is watch all these videos if you want to know more about me. And most importantly, I say that I will remember, just as a general term to say. Now, and in the book, someone also wrote their name, quote unquote, Sarah Carlos, quote unquote. I don't know who you are, but here's a mini shout out if you ever find this video, like a bottle in a sea. So now, back to the original script I was on. Well, we read pages 66 to 75 on Lord of the Flies, and I learned how the boys in the book are using less reason, more emotions, and primitive instincts since one of them began to put face markings and also ended up killing a pig. Well, it's a whole group of them. I went to complete homework later on for those pages, so in the period of math, I did quadratic homework in delta math. When the teacher came to my table or near me, I pretended to work on the homework even though I was already done, so I just finished up like a little Spanish paper mini essay that I was doing, so that was really it. Nothing really happened, no funny moments, but I don't know why I pretended to be working even though I was already finished. Before I left school, I told my teacher that the students are failing because of other teachers in the past semester. For example, my teacher before is more of a DIY teacher. For one part of the period, he explains 15 minutes of the topic. Then the next 30 minutes, we work by ourselves. I think other students use those same 30 minutes to do other things. Now, when I left for school, I thought there was a girl who was talking to my mom, but when I looked closer at my mom's vehicle, she was actually using her phone. So in reality, she was not talking to my mom. And I also forgot to say earlier, credit to that one girl during lunch, and obviously credit to that one girl at morning period. I know you guys may not see this video for a very long time, but credits are credits, so you guys deserve it. One thing that I learned today is the word toponym. It literally means a specific place or geographical feature like Mount Everest. And I learned a Spanish dialect of quote unquote traditional New Mexican Spanish. It's a unique dialect and it's similar to Spanish, but some letters are switched out. Some words, some conjugations are different. One thing that I do need to attach since I forgot to add this earlier. Right before PE, I decided to set a new interaction with a girl I've talked to before. And I say that in the environment that I was in, it went very awkward and I had to correct myself many times. I don't speak as loud, so that did not help either. And I think I pushed the conversation a little too far, but we did not know what to talk about. And I think the reason is that even though the conversation went well, I think the reason it went really awkward, there was a ton of social friction, is that there was no entry topic. where the conversation could have had a natural flow, which I say, I mean, having to come up and think of topics puts you like under pressure. Thankfully, we both listened to each other, and she was calm, a little bit apprehensive. But I think the biggest reason that the conversation was awkward is that there is no entry point, no entry topic, but it's still worth the interaction because it's still a form of growth. And I see the mistake that both of us made. So, anyways, I still give credits to the girl because I did hit at one important nuance of conversation that I do need to clarify. I asked her for Instagram in the hoping that I could set up a proper conversation since this is a loud environment that we're in. And she told me she has a boyfriend. And what I realized is that she falsely assumed that just because in the context and awkward environments, she thought that I was asking to be her boyfriend by asking her for Instagram. And that is not true. Now, I'm curious about people, and remember, chat, just because I add a boy or girl's Instagram, that does not equal me wanting to be their boyfriend or girlfriend. I am bi, obviously, but do not conflate asking for someone's Instagram media as equal for that same person as wanting a novio or a novia. Now that's it. Big credits to that girl, and that's it. Thanks for watching.